Hello friends, welcome back. Today we would be learning a very important concept, that is how to configure Maven with Selenium on the Intellij Editor. In one of my previous tutorials, I explained how to configure Intellij Editor with Selenium WebDriver. This is an extension. We would be doing the same thing, but today we would be using Maven, which is extensively used in the market today. So let's start learning that. Maven provides a number of advantages which we would understand in the course of this tutorial. First, we will learn how to get Maven on our systems. So here are the steps which we should follow to get Maven installed in our systems. These are the steps. Like, first step is to download the Maven files. Now I'll show you from where you have to download these Maven files. So this is the website. This is maven.apache.org/download.cgi. I'll just copy this and make a note of it over here. So from here you would be able to download the Maven files. So if you see the website, if you just scroll down here in this section where I am hovering my mouse, you would be able to see the files. So what you have to do is you have to select this option, Apache Maven 3.5.4, which is the current version, bin.zip, or if you are using any other archiving tool, you could select the tar.gs file as well. So I am using zip file, so I would be selecting this option and downloading it. So you have to just click on this link and your download would start. I have already downloaded this zip file, because of which I'm not clicking it. I'll just show you the zip file. So my zip file I have located in my F drive under this Maven folder which I have created. It is up to you. You can store this zip file anywhere in your system. By default it will get stored and downloaded in your downloads folder. So you could just create any folder in your system and place it over here. Once that is done, you have to just uncompress it, click on extract all, and I'm storing it here itself, and I am clicking on this extract button to get it extracted. So if you can see, it is getting extracted. It will take few minutes. So now the extraction is complete, and if you would see in this folder, a number of files and folders have been extracted. So what we have achieved the first step of downloading the Maven files. So this step is done, which I am highlighting. This is done. So now we'll move to the second step, which is setup of environment variables. So let's start doing that. For setting up the environment variables, we should know the path where the Maven files are located. In my case, my Maven files are located at this location, fmaven apache maven 3.5.4 bin/apache maven 3.5.4. This is the path. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this path. Now I'll go to the environment variables and set this path up. So for doing that, what we have to do is, like, we have to go to the system environment variables. There are two ways. Either you could go to your control panel. Within control panel, go to system, advanced system settings, and here you have the option environment variables, and when I click here, you get these options. So you could set the variables here, system variables below. So what you have to do is click on this new button. Here the variable name should be exactly like this, Maven _ HOME, and here the value should be the path where the Maven files are located. So I had already copied the path, so I have pasted it over here. Now I click on OK. We require another environment variable, same process. Click on this new button. At this point, write the name as M2 _ home, and the value is the same. Now I click OK. Once these two paths, M2 _ home and Maven _ home, are set, the next step is we need to update this path variable. Now to update this path variable, put your cursor over there, click on edit. So this kind of a window would come up. Here you have to add a new path. So for that, click on the new button, and here you have to mention the path. Now the path is a bit different, it is almost same. Here this was the path which we had taken for m2_home and maven_home, but for the path variable we'll go one step further inside and take this bin folder as well. So this is the thing which we'll copy, and now I will update it over here. So I click on this new button, paste my path. You could see this path is available over here, and now I finally click OK, and now the OK of the outside window, and finally OK of the environment variable window. So once these things are done, your environment variables are in place, which means our step 2, which was set up environment variables, this is completed. So we are done with step 1 and 2, that is download of Maven files has been completed, environment variables are set. Now we'll move to the third step, that is verify if Maven is correctly installed. Now how to do that? You should open your command prompt. I have already opened it. If your command prompt is not open, on your run command just type cmd and OK. Then you'll have this kind of a window opening up, and here you have to fire this command which I am showing you right now. The command is mvn space hyphen version. So this is the command which I will write here on my command prompt window. Now if everything is correct, then this command would display the version of Maven. So I press enter now, and now if you would see, it is showing Apache Maven 3.5.4, which means Apache Maven is correctly installed in our system. One point to note, if you just read below, it is showing Java version, whatever version is there in my system. So this is a prerequisite. Please make sure that you have your Java correctly installed in your system. If Java is not installed, then Maven would not work. So this is a prerequisite. Please make sure you have your Java correctly installed in your systems. So with this step, we have verified that Maven is correctly installed in our system, and our step number 3 is completed. Now comes the interesting part, which is the step 4, that is configuration of settings.xml file. So let's start learning this settings.xml file. The settings.xml file by default gets downloaded with rest of the Maven files. I'll show you where this settings.xml file gets downloaded. So the settings.xml file can be found, like this was the location where we had downloaded all the Maven files, Apache Maven 3.5.4 bin, under which if I go inside, there is another folder Apache Maven 3.5.4, and there we have another bin folder. If you see below, there is a folder called conf, conf. If I just double click and move into this, here I find this file settings. Now this is an XML file. I'll just open it and show you. This settings.xml file gets downloaded by default whenever we download all the rest of the Maven files which we had seen in step 1. So if you just see this file, so it is a big XML file, it's quite confusing. I'll open it in the browser, so it would be easier to read the contents of this settings.xml file. So if you see in this browser, it has a number of tags, and it is a big XML file, but not all the things would be required. So what I have done is I have created a customized small settings.xml file which I'll show you that would serve our purpose. So let's see the settings.xml file which I have created. So this is the settings.xml file. I'll just open it in a notepad. to show you the small version of the settings.xml file. So it is very simple and very small. If you would see, these are the bare minimum tags which are required. I have provided in this settings.xml. So now I'm closing this settings.xml file, also the web version of the original XML file, and what I'll do is I'll just replace this file with the smaller settings.xml file which we just saw, so that it would be easier for us. So I'll just copy this file and place it in the original location. I'm just replacing it, so I select this option too. So the settings.xml file is ready now, but you all must be wondering what is the use of this settings.xml file, and here comes the crux of Maven. Now you will see the beauty of Maven. Now if you just see what is there inside this settings.xml file, you could see some references to Apache Maven.org. So what will happen is, now when I execute the Maven command, it will make a connection to the Maven repository and try to download some stuff. Now that's some stuff what it will try to download. I will explain it to you in few minutes, but now we'll just see a small demo, like when I hit the Maven command, now what will happen. It is very interesting, so let's see what happens when I fire the Maven command. I'm just closing this settings.xml file for now. So I open my command prompt. So this is the command prompt, and here I am firing this command mvn, that's it. And now when I press enter, something will happen. So it is showing build failure, forget it for now, but in the background something has happened. Now if you move to the local directory path of your Windows system, which I'm showing you right now, here you would see something called .m2. This folder has been created and it has a subfolder called repository. Now these things were not available. These things got created when I fired this mvn command. What I'll do is I'll just delete it once again. Now this m2 folder no longer exists, and once again I'll fire this command. So again I type mvn on the command prompt, hit enter, and now if you would see, this m2 folder has come again. Now this is very important. This is the magic of Maven. Maven automatically creates the repository, and now one question would be coming to your mind: what would be stored in this repository? I'll answer to this question, but before that, if you would see our settings.xml file once again, here is the settings.xml file. If I just open it, here I have not mentioned any location where the repository should be created. So whenever there is no mention of the local repository, then by default the m2 repository would get created in your C users folder, as it has been shown right now. This is created in C users folder. But if you wish to create this repository at any other customized location, that is also possible. You will have to just add another tag, which I am doing right now. The tag goes like this. It is local repository, R is capital, the location where you wish to store your files, the Maven files. So what I have done is I have created this folder Maven downloads in my F drive, and I want all the files to be downloaded at this location. So I have mentioned this path over here, f/Maven downloads, and after which I have mentioned jars. Now this jars folder would get auto created when I will hit the Maven command. So I'll just save this settings.xml file, close it, and now I am writing this Maven command on the command prompt mvn and pressing enter. Now let's see what happens. So if you see over here, this jars folder has been auto created. Now this is up to us, like if you wish to not store the jars at any customized location, you could not, what you should do, you should not like mention local repository tag in your settings.xml. But if you would mention this local repository and provide a path, then your repository would be created at the path which you have mentioned. In my case, if Maven downloads and within which jar folders. So if this tag local repository is not present, by default the repository would be named as .m2, under which the folder name would be repository, and it would be created in your C users folder if you are using the Windows system. So this would be created if you have not mentioned the local repository tag in your setting.xml. So with this we have completed the fourth step of configuring the settings.xml file. I know you would be a bit confused, like where we have to actually use this settings.xml file. Don't worry, everything, all your confusions would be solved when we do the next step, which is create a Maven based Selenium project on the Intellij Editor. So let's start doing that. I'll just close the settings.xml file. Now I'll move to my Intellij Editor. Now we could also do the same thing on the Eclipse editor, but this tutorial is specifically made for the Intellij Editor, because of which I'm using the Intellij Editor. I'll create a separate tutorial for the Eclipse editor. So this is my Intellij Editor. I'll create a new project by going to File, New, select the option Project, and here on the left hand side you have the different kinds of project. Our intention is to create a Maven project. If you see on the top, project SDK 1.8, it is pointing to the Java version, like 1.8 is the version of the Java which is installed in my system. You should have Java installed in your systems as well, as mentioned earlier. So I have selected Maven. I am not selecting create from archetype option. I am just clicking on the next button. Here it is asking me for some details. So it is asking me a group ID. You could give any name of your choice. I am giving the name as Maven_projects, and the artifact ID, which is the name of your project, again it is up to you. I am giving the name as Maven_test1. You could give any name. Now click on the next button. Here you have the project location. You could give any location of your choice, and finally click on the finish button. So it is asking to create a directory, which is okay. Let it create a directory. I am clicking on the OK button. Now it may ask you to open this newly created project on this same window, same Intellij window, or a new window. It's up to you. I am creating on this window itself. It may or it may not ask you, or it may directly open as it is opening right now. So it is loading the project. It will take few seconds, and now it has loaded the project. Now I cannot see the project explorer, which can be done by going to views, tool windows, and select the first option, project. So this kind of a project explorer you will be able to see, so that it will be easier for you to navigate between the windows. So if you just expand this, now this is very important. You could see something called pom.xml. Now this is the heart of Maven, the pom.xml file. Now few minutes ago I had explained the settings.xml file. In the settings.xml file we had mentioned a local repository, and I had said that local repository is the place where we would be downloading some stuff. Now that some stuff which we need to download should be mentioned in this pom.xml file, like whatever files I mention over here in forms language, those are called dependencies. In our case, we would need the Selenium dependencies in order to successfully execute Selenium scripts. So I would have to mention those Selenium dependencies in this pom.xml file, and internally when the command will get executed, those dependencies would get downloaded from the Maven server to the location which is mentioned in the settings.xml file. We'll once again see the settings.xml file. This is the settings.xml file. I'll just open it. So in our case, the Selenium jars should be downloaded in this fmaven downloads jars folder. But for that, we'll have to perform two steps. One is we have to mention the dependencies in this pom.xml file. I'll show you in a couple of minutes how to mention those dependencies. But before that, this project on IntelliJ which we have created should be linked to the settings.xml file. Else how would this IntelliJ project talk with the settings.xml file and get the Selenium jars downloaded in the location which is mentioned in the settings.xml file? So let's go ahead and link the settings.xml file with this IntelliJ project. On the IntelliJ editor, go to File, Settings. Here you have multiple options. Expand the build execution deployment option, under which you will have build tools. Expand that, and under which you have Maven. Click on Maven. So on the right hand side, a project window would open up, and if you would just scroll down, like here you have some options called user setting files and local repository. So this is the place where you would be mentioning the path of our settings.xml file. So just click on this override checkbox over here and apply the path of the settings.xml file which is there in our system. So the path in my case is this one, /settings.xml, don't forget that. And if you see, by default the local repository has changed to the path which is mentioned in the settings.xml file. So what you can do is just click on apply button and OK. So now this IntelliJ editor has been linked to the settings.xml file which we created in the earlier step. Now whatever dependencies we will mention in this pom.xml file over here would get downloaded in the path mentioned in the settings.xml file. So let's go ahead and add the Selenium dependencies in this pom.xml file. The syntax to add dependencies goes like this. You have to create a dependencies tag like this and close the tag with a /, and if you see, IntelliJ Editor has helped me to close the dependencies tag. Under the dependencies there would be multiple dependencies, so for that you have to add this tag within the dependencies tag. The tag is dependency. Again, the editor is helping me, and now it has added this dependency tag and closed the dependency tag, and between it has given some group ID and artifact ID. Now this is the place where we have to exactly mention which dependency I want to download. So I'm just removing this, and here I would mention the Selenium dependency. The syntax for adding Selenium dependency goes like this. Make sure you have written in the right place. It is between this open dependency tag and close dependency tag. So first is the group ID, which is org.selenium hq.selenium. Second is what kind of dependency I need. I need Selenium Java dependency. So that is Selenium-Java, which is under artifact ID, and the version. Right now I need the version as 3.10.0, so I have mentioned this version. Now you must be wondering from where the dependent Selenium files would be getting downloaded from. So for that I will show you the reference of the official Selenium HQ website. Like here, if you would see the official repo of Maven, repo1.maven.org, maven2.org, and Selenium HQ/Selenium. This is the site where the files are placed and from where we would be downloading. Like when the program would execute, it would be taking the download from this site. I'll show you this website. Like this is the website, and here are the files. Like all these links are the files. So if I click on Selenium-Java, which we have mentioned in our pom.xml file, this is the file, and it has multiple versions. So any version which you want, you could just mention that version number in the pom.xml file. So I have used the version 3.10.0. so if you see in my pom file, the version is marked as 3.10.0. if you wish to pick up any other version, you need to do only a small change. Like if you wish 3.11.0, just change the version here 3.11.0. So this is the beauty of pom and Maven. So earlier when we were using traditional methodology where we were not using pom, at that point we were configuring the jar files manually. Like in the project we were doing the right click and then configuring the project, but here with the help of this pom.xml, just we have to provide the reference and everything would be done automatically. So I have written the dependency over here, and here if you would see on the left hand side under external libraries, nothing is available over here. But when I will click this import changes link below on the editor, it will pick up the files from the server which I had shown you and download it in the local repository, which is this one, Maven downloads jars. Here you will see a number of files which would be coming from the server, the centralized Maven server, which is this server. So you should make a point that your internet connection is on whenever you are trying to achieve this. So now I am clicking on this link, import changes, and you'll see something running in the background. So if you see below, it is giving you a notice that resolving dependencies of Maven test 1. So this procedure will take few seconds. We'll have to wait for a few seconds. So once this process gets completed, if you would see these lines which were appearing in red now do not appear in red, and if you would see on the left hand side, external libraries has a reference to a number of files, and you'll see the jars folder which we had referenced in the settings.xml file, and here you would see all the files are available. So the download has worked and our project is now ready to execute Selenium scripts. So now let's go ahead, create a small Selenium script and check whether it works fine or not. So on the left hand side, I have this folder main, under which I have a folder called Java. I right click on that Java folder, new Java class. You can give any name. I am giving the name as test1. You click the OK button and here it is ready. So we'll write the sample code here. This is the main function. Here we'll write the code for the WebDriver. So I write WebDriver. I'm getting the options, which means the configuration is correct. I create the object, any object name of your choice, new. If I wish Firefox driver, this also option is coming, which means the configuration absolutely fine. Now what I'll do is open up some website like google.com, obj.get. So this is also ready. Make a point, one important point, that the latest versions of Firefox do not work without Gecko driver, so we have to provide a reference of the Gecko driver. So I'm writing syntax for that. System dot set property. Here we have to provide two parameters. This is webdriver dot gecko dot driver, and the second parameter would be the path where your Gecko driver is located. So this is where my Gecko driver is residing. The name should be proper with the extension exe, and now it is ready. So if everything, all the configuration and stuff is correct, this should execute correctly and open up google.com browser. So let's execute this. I'll just click this green button on the top to get it executed, which I have clicked right now, and it has started building. In few seconds you will be able to see the browser coming up. So as you can see, the Firefox browser has come up, and now it will try to navigate to the google.com website, which we have mentioned in our script. So here you go, you could see it has correctly launched the google.com website, which was expected. So this is how we configure Maven with the Intellij Editor. The most important part is the POM file. You could see just a small POM file and everything is set up. So the main advantage is, like, if you wish to change the version tomorrow, if something new comes and you have to use the 3.12 or 3.13 version, no changes you have to do, just one single change. Here you just change the version over here, like I have mentioned it, 3.12. Here you will get the option of import changes. You have to just click it and the latest files would be available. Make sure your internet connection is on. Now we have added this dependency for Selenium. Now if you wish to read the data from Excel files, then you will need a separate dependency for the Apache POI jar files. I request you all to give it a shot by yourself. Try to add the dependency of the Apache POI jar files. Like there would be another section like this, which I am highlighting. Within the parent dependencies, there would be another dependency of the Apache POI jar files, which would come below here. So try searching out on Google and try to add the dependency, and if you face any issues, you can always let me know. I would be more than happy to help you. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you like my tutorials, I'll request you to please subscribe to my channel so that you would be aware of the latest videos which I would be uploading. Guys, thanks for joining. I would see you in my next tutorial. Thank you. Bye bye.